Welcome to G Fun Facts Online. For centuries, a spinal cord injury has been a life sentence of paralysis, a devastating moment that severs the connection between mind and body. But what if that sentence could be overturned? What if we could tell the body to heal itself, to rebuild the very pathways that were destroyed? This isn't science fiction anymore. Today, we're diving into the incredible scientific revolution that is actively learning how to reverse paralysis. Let's get started. To understand the cure, we first have to understand the injury. Your spinal cord is the body's information superhighway. It's a dense bundle of nerves relaying commands from the brain to your limbs and sending sensations back. When this highway is damaged, say in a car accident or a fall, the flow of information stops. The result is paralysis. The severity depends on where the break happens. A high injury can cause quadriplegia, affecting all four limbs, while a lower one might result in paraplegia, affecting the legs. The immediate aftermath of the injury is biological chaos. The body's emergency response, inflammation, rushes to the scene. But in the delicate environment of the spinal cord, this well-meaning response often causes more damage, killing off even more healthy nerve cells. Then comes the bigger problem. As the injury site tries to heal, it forms a dense, fibrous structure called a glial scar. Think of it as a biological wall, a permanent roadblock on the information superhighway. This scar is the primary reason the central nervous system can't repair itself. The severed nerve fibers, called axons, try to regrow, but they hit this wall and simply can't get through. For decades, this glial scar was considered an insurmountable barrier. But that's changing, thanks to a multi-pronged attack from the world of biotechnology. The first, and perhaps most famous approach, is stem cell therapy. Stem cells are the body's master cells. They are unique in their ability to develop into many different cell types. The idea is to use them to seed the ground for repair. Scientists are experimenting with a few different kinds. Neural stem cells, for example, are pre-programmed to become neurons and other nervous system cells. When transplanted, they can replace the neurons that were lost and even help repair the protective coating around surviving nerves, called myelin, improving their function. Another type, mesenchymal stem cells, found in bone marrow and fat tissue, are fantastic at calming the destructive inflammation after an injury and releasing a cocktail of growth factors that encourage healing. But the real game changer might be induced pluripotent stem cells, or iPSCs. This is a Nobel Prize-winning technology that allows scientists to take an adult cell, like a skin cell, and reprogram it, winding it back to an embryonic-like state. From there, they can coax it into becoming any cell type they want, including the exact types of neurons lost in a specific spinal cord injury. This opens the door for personalized medicine, using a patient's own cells to create a custom repair kit, eliminating the risk of immune rejection. We're already seeing this move from the lab to the clinic. A biotech startup called ZellSmart Biopharmaceutical has launched the first ever clinical trial using lab-grown neurons derived from iPSCs to treat spinal cord injuries. Their therapy, called XS228, uses subtype-specific neural progenitors, cells designed to become the precise neurons needed to bridge the gap. It's an off-the-shelf therapy derived from healthy donors, and in animal studies, the results were astounding. The transplanted cells integrated into the damaged cord, grew new axons, and successfully restored movement. While stem cells provide the building blocks for repair, they need support. They need a scaffold to grow on, something to guide them across the injury gap. This is where tissue engineering and biomaterials come in. One of the simplest and most effective tools is a hydrogel. This is a water-based gel that can be injected directly into the injury site. It creates a supportive matrix for cells to grow within. These gels can be loaded with stem cells, growth factors, or other drugs to create a powerful, localized, regenerative environment. For example, Hydrogels based on hyaluronic acid, a natural component of the spinal cord, have been shown to reduce inflammation and shrink that problematic glial scar. But scientists are getting even more creative. Researchers at Northwestern University have developed an injectable therapy they call dancing molecules. When injected, these molecules self-assemble into a network of nanofibers that mimic the natural environment around cells. But they don't just sit there. They are designed to move, to dance. This motion sends bioactive signals to the cells, essentially telling them to start the repair and regeneration process. The results in paralyzed mice were nothing short of miraculous. A single injection regenerated severed axons, reduced scar tissue, reformed the myelin sheath around nerves, and even grew new blood vessels. Just 4 weeks after the injection, the mice regained the ability to walk. This therapy is now moving towards FDA approval for human trials. Taking this concept even further is 3D printing. At Tel Aviv University, scientists are engineering 3D human spinal cord tissues. They start by taking a small biopsy of a patient's belly fat. From this, they separate the cells and the extracellular matrix. The cells are reprogrammed into iPSCs, and the matrix is used to create a personalized hydrogel. The stem cells are then placed in this personalized gel, and using a process that mimics the natural development of the spinal cord, they are turned into 3D implants of living, functional neuronal networks. When these personalized implants were placed in animal models with chronic, long-term paralysis, they restored walking abilities in 80% of the cases. They are now preparing for clinical trials in humans, with the hope of helping patients get back on their feet. Another powerful tool is gene therapy. This approach involves introducing new genetic material into existing cells to rewrite their instructions, boosting their natural regenerative abilities. Researchers at a Swiss center called Neural Restore have developed a gene therapy that does just this. After studying how the spinal cord sometimes naturally repairs itself after partial injuries, they identified the specific neurons responsible. They then designed a gene therapy to replicate and amplify this process. It works in 3 ways. It activates growth programs in these neurons to regenerate their nerve fibers. It provides proteins that help these fibers grow through the tough scar tissue. And it releases guidance molecules that attract the new nerve fibers to their correct targets down the spinal cord. This complex, multi-pronged approach has successfully restored motor function in mice with complete spinal cord injuries, a huge step towards a gene therapy for paralysis in humans. Finally, what if, while we're figuring out how to perfectly regenerate the cord, we could just bypass the injury altogether? This is the world of bioelectronic medicine, and it's creating a neural bypass to restore communication. One technique is called epidural stimulation. A small, pacemaker-like device is surgically implanted near the spinal cord, below the level of injury. It delivers a continuous low-level electrical current. This doesn't magically heal the cord, but it wakes up the neural circuits below the break, making them more receptive to the faint signals from the brain that might still be trickling through. In multiple studies, individuals with paralysis who received this stimulation have been able to stand, take steps with assistance, and even regain some voluntary bladder and bowel control. But the most futuristic approach is the brain-computer interface, or BCI. This creates a direct communication link between the brain and an external device. Researchers at Northwell Health's Feinstein Institutes have pioneered what they call a, quote, double neural bypass. They implanted microchips into the brain of a man living with quadriplegia. These chips can read and decode his thoughts, his intention to move his arm, for instance. That information is sent to a computer, which uses artificial intelligence to translate it into stimulation commands. These commands are then sent to another set of electrodes on his arm and hand, stimulating the muscles to move as he intended. It also sends signals to his spinal cord, stimulating it at the same time. This system not only bypasses the injury to restore movement, but it also restores sensation. The participant can now feel his hand being touched. Incredibly, this constant stimulation appears to be promoting natural recovery. His arm strength has improved, and has regained some sensation, even when the system is turned off. It's as if the technology is teaching his brain and body to talk to each other again. So what does the future hold? It's unlikely there will be a single magic bullet. The real path forward lies in combination therapies. Imagine a treatment that starts with a gene therapy to kickstart nerve regrowth, followed by an injection of dancing molecules, or a 3D printed scaffold seeded with a patient's own stem cells to bridge the gap. Once new connections are formed, neurostimulation could be used to strengthen and fine-tune them, all while the patient undergoes advanced rehabilitation with robotic exoskeletons. Of course, there are still challenges. The long-term safety and effectiveness of these therapies need to be proven in large-scale human trials. There are complex ethical questions to navigate, especially with gene editing and stem cells. And we must address the critical issue of access and cost, ensuring these life-changing treatments are available to everyone who needs them, not just the wealthy. Despite these hurdles, the optimism is undeniable. The pace of discovery is breathtaking. For millions of people living with paralysis, this research offers more than just scientific curiosity. It offers a tangible beacon of hope. The quest to reverse paralysis is a powerful testament to human ingenuity. A life sentence is being challenged, and the day when a spinal cord injury is no longer permanent may be much closer than any of us ever thought possible. Thanks for tuning in to G Fun Facts Online.